these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them.
We are in a new free speech era. Mark Zuckerberg, who came to typify the oligarchical overreach of the pandemic period with his censoring of stories about vaccine injuries and misinformation, has now gone on Joe Rogan to say he will participate no more in such things. Is it a genuine conversion, or is it merely a response to the shifting sands of political power? Let's have a look at it now.
So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from, 2 weeks to flatten the curve to, and like in the beginning, it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks. Masks aren't that important. To then it's like, oh, no, you have to wear a mask. And, everything was shifting around. It just became very difficult to kind of follow. And this really hit the most extreme, I'd say, during the Biden administration when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And I'm generally pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance, the vaccines are more positive than negative. But I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who is basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly were true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that that talk about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration.
It's the government. It's the government. A lot of comments on Locals and Rumble about the perm. Someone simply, I can't with the perm. A robot with a perm. A lot of talk about the perm. Elsewhere in the conversation, he says the White House would scream at his employees. Now, look, I just want to let you know this. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. Literally during the pandemic, I was saying they're censoring information, aren't they? Now, it wasn't because it was coming from me. A lot of it was coming from you. But isn't it kind of amazing to see post the election of Trump, powerful figures like Mark Zuckerberg coming out and saying, for example, Fauci was telling me what to do, the government were telling me what to do. And doesn't that make you believe that the other stuff we're saying is also true too? That real independent media, whilst it might be a space beset with itself argument and conflict, of course it is now. People like all over the independent media space have political and social and cultural arguments with one another, but the general idea that you cannot trust the legacy media, the general idea that you cannot trust the government, the general idea that you can't trust large bureaucracies like NATO and the EU, that's reached people now. To the point where you're getting Zuckerberg doing a mea culpa with an outrageous perm and acknowledging that the government were infiltrating these institutions and controlling the information you had access to. Think now of the people in the UK that are jailed for social media posts. Think now of the various people in the US that are in jail because of actions on January 6th. Think now that this might go way beyond left-right arguments. We're in a new territory now. And I would call to you, whether you're an atheist or a believer, whether you're on the left or the right, to participate in a new movement, whether you're a esoteric, cultural, post-60s radical, or you're a fervid traditionalist. Awaken at once, because this is an extraordinary moment. We don't know how America will be governed now. It's going to be fascinating. But we do know that across the world, we are going to need to see uprisings, changes, because beyond the nation is a far greater force. Beyond the material is a far greater force. That's why we're seeing significant figures reforming.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like,
interesting swallow.
And basically, it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, like this sort of like...
We know the meme, carry on.
Class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then like all these different agencies and branches of government basically just like started investigating, coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Wow.
Brutal. Man, that is a turn. Wouldn't you like to see Joe Biden talk about these things now in his last days in office? Or are you not interested in seeing Joe Biden say anything anymore? Let me know in the comments and chat. 1775 may have been a dark year for the British, but it was a great year for freedom and a great year for coffee. 1775 coffee is a powerful brew indeed. Did you know that drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee in the morning could slash your risk of death? And it's a risk that you're going to have to face by 29% and cut your chances of heart complications by nearly half. In which case, I'm going to live forever because I drink about 10. That's science. You can't argue with that. But what's the point of you if your coffee tastes like it was brewed by some hyper-woke barista more concerned with their TikTok following than caring about your coffee? Enter 1775 coffee. In you come. This ain't just coffee. It's a revolutionary act of defiance in every cup. Why not have a revolution before breakfast? Hand-picked at high altitude, sourced from single origins farms, this coffee don't pander to corporate overlords or sugar-laden mediocrity. Whether it's beans, grounds, or pods, every sip of 1775 coffee is a stand against the industrial coffee complex that's been filling our mornings and our bodies with junk disguised as caffeine. This is coffee for the free thinkers, the ungovernable, the seekers of truth. God bless you, 1775 America. Head over to 1775coffee.com and use the code BRAND for 15% off. And make mornings great again with coffee that fuels bold flavor, uncompromising quality, and the freedom Rumble stands for every day. If Rumble were a cup of coffee, it would be 1775. Get yourself a cup right now. You'll maybe live forever. Is that too much to claim?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.